What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling exceptional today. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just fantastic, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. Now, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. She's been so elusive, Cancer. I don't know why we're doing this hide and seek game. I haven't seen her in days. I'm getting concerned. But I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going to void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. All right, Cancer, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Cancer. And Cancer, happy Jupiter Day. Jupiter is associated with Thursdays. It's a great time for sharing any information that you may have there. Cancer, great time for learning, growing, expansion, getting outside of your normal routine there. Branch out and go, maybe go to a new maybe restaurant you've never gone to. Cancer, maybe if you have a certain coffee shop you go to, mix it up there. Jupiter's about getting new experiences in the abundance that this universe has to offer us. And also to Cancer, I feel is a great day to just bask in the abundance too. Just really kind of take a minute and just kind of look around and to express this gratitude for the things that you do have, the your health, can all those kind of those basic goodies there, Cancer. And this is a great time to do that. You can take a little carve out a nice little chunk of time there, Cancer, at least a few hours, because the moon's going to be going void, of course, today. The moon's going to be going void, of course, Cancer, at about 10:39 p.m., and that'll be Pacific time. And then she will be moving from Aquarius into Pisces at tomorrow, Friday, on the 5th of April, at about 4:12 a.m. So we're looking at about a 5-hour, 33-minute void, of course, time there, Cancer. And with this energy, this happens when the moon forms her last aspect with the celestial body, and then she just kind of takes a moment and processes the information that has been given to her. And the void, of course, energy is a reminder that the moon is the fastest celestial body in our sky, and the moon is closely tied to our day to day and how we respond to this environment there, Cancer. And considering, especially if you have Cancer in your big three, your sun, moon, or rising or ascendant sign, then the moon, how she plays is very important, what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's doing this energy. So this is just a reminder to take care of yourself there, Cancer, because our energies is one that is very subjective, when we're dealing with emotions and looking at how we respond to our everyday environment and to the stimuli that come through. So, and that's a lot, Cancer, when you think about that, there could be a number of things with your charts to how that could even translate as well. For me, being a Leo rising, I have in my 4th house, which is the house that the moon is responsible or associated with, I have Scorpio there, and then Pluto's there as well. So he's making he's making himself at home in the sign that I take care of, where my deep emotions are and things. So, and sometimes when I get in that space, it can be a lot. And I feel that this is a reminder just to make sure to check in with yourself, Cancer, because it is a lot how our emotions can fluctuate within a week, within a day, within an hour. So yeah, you just want to just kind of be mindful of those and the energies, and be mindful too of just like what you've, like I was saying, what you've picked up around you as well. It may be some other energies that you may have internalized as well. So this could be something where maybe doing like some journaling if you've noticed some particular emotions that are bothering you. This could be maybe even moving the body, going for a walk, maybe doing some exercise if that's how you maybe process, these emotions. This could be through art, through singing. Maybe we just need to go in a room and just kind of just really feel it out there, create a safe space for yourself there, Cancer, a place for you to, for awareness, for observation, but I do feel that it is one where it's just like how we're in Mercury retrograde right now, where after us, Gemini and Virgo energies get affected by Mercury retrograde. We're just as affected by these void of course energies. And this is something too, Cancer, you may notice that starting up things may be a little bit difficult with this energy. It's not impossible, but it's just something to pay attention to where the moon's at and how that energy can, pay attention to where your mood's at when that comes into play there. Also too, your plans may be subject to unexpected changes during this time, and that people may be less likely to make decisions during this time, which is again just to show how the moon can fluctuate so often. One minute she's game, she's full, she's on board. The next minute, she's just like, when she's in Aquarius, she's friendly, she's all about it. But then when she goes to Pisces, she wants to be left alone. Especially in the waning crescent, she's sensitive. It's we're reflecting, we're letting go, we're releasing. So it's just something to pay attention to forgiving yourself and forgiving others as well there, Cancer. And I like that actually kind of ties in nicely too there, because we are in a waning crescent phase in Aquarius now, Cancer. And with this energy, when I was kind of meditating on this, I do feel that this is the time for us collectively to just kind of give ourselves a break, especially being into retrograde. We're getting into a big energy. I've been noticing on like my YouTube feeds and things how there is a lot of talk about this energy, and that could be a lot of hyped up, when I looking at the month of April, in Aries going into Taurus season, there are a lot of conjunctions that are happening, and conjunctions can feel like a lot of energy being integrated, and that's just what's happening. It's a time. It's not necessarily, oh my gosh, it's just a big energy. It's a time of integration. There are changes that are getting ready to happen, and this is happening collectively. So I feel one thing to think about when we're going through our just kind of everyday, especially being in Mercury retrograde. This is paying attention to the day-to-day, to not necessarily releasing accountability for other people, but to understand where it's like that was, yes, that, for example, let's say someone cuts you off in the intersection, or let's say, and it's not, again, dangerous, of course. But instead of like carrying that anger and these things along those lines, it's just like, you know what? I don't know what they're going through. I'm not sure where they're at on this journey. I was actually just talking with someone a little bit about this yesterday, where even just like kind of seeing, as far as giving ourselves a break, is where we're at on our journeys. I feel like there's some times where we can look at others and think like, oh, how can they do this with their lives? Or blah, blah, blah. Just do all this judging, and we don't know them from Eve. But one thing I've been getting in the practice of is when I see something where, listen, my moon's in Gemini, I have thoughts all the time, non-stop thoughts. But the more conscious thought that I've been having, when I normally would just kind of go into typical glib Gemini mode, is more so to, I wonder what their zodiac sign is. I wonder where their sun placement's at. Oh, that's an interesting way to express that energy. I wonder if there's any Sag in there, if there's any Leo. That's awfully big. Maybe there's, you kind of get to have fun with it. And that's where I feel like it kind of gets down to not necessarily what could you do better. It's just like, oh, okay, so that's how you're operating in that energy at this time. I wonder what has led to this point. Then it gives this place of, leading to an inquisitive place, and just like kind of, then you can sort of look back at yourself when you were kind of going through those similar type of things, and it's like, how can we break that mold even, is what I'm feeling. This is a time to The Waning Crescent is great for assessing your values as well, Cancer. And I feel like this is, when we're thinking about Aquarius, this is about how your individual gifts, the thing that makes you uniquely you. It's bringing that to the collective. And I feel that this is, there's something here, and I was talking with someone about this, where it's like I've been feeling this energy as not necessarily discovering your gifts for you, but discovering your gifts. Your gifts are for everyone else, and we can, in but we can only experience that gift when you are in that authenticity. So this is a time to, with this waning crescent, this void course, to assess the things that you've invested yourself in. Have these has this really been, have you really been truly going through to you, or have this been affected by your group or environment or society in some type of ways? Maybe there's even some sort of cultural, more sort of like, or how do I want to put this, more so societal type of moons, this kind of tribal type of tendencies. But I do feel that this is a time to relax, because when we're talking about this big energy, you could feel like, oh crap, if I don't know where I'm going, then I'm going to panic, and that's not a time to panic. It's like the fact that you're acknowledging that, okay, maybe I need to be a bit more intentional, or maybe, oh, I've been checked out maybe in this area or in that area. That's a step in I feel, in, as long as I feel that, is working towards your highest self, I feel like that's a step in the right direction for you. But again, it's something that I feel we have to ask ourselves and see where we've gotten stagnant, because I feel where when we stop getting inquisitive as a being, then the growth stops, and it's like, now I feel like this is a time for us to kind of collectively take a rest, kind of breathe, reassess where we're going, kind of go inward, so that we can all grow going forward. Because I feel this eclipse will feel like, oh my gosh, there's this big energy. I don't feel like it's going to be something necessarily that's going to happen right off the bat. It won't be necessarily like this mass, you won't see like this mass catharsis. I think it'll be more kind of subtle, again, because Mars is in Pisces, the energy that's in charge of all this Aries energy. And so this is one where I feel like, be kind with yourself, figure out where you're going. This is detached from any sort of expectations, meet yourself where you're at and think about where you're going, being present going forward. Because that's the questions when you think about the dispositors of where the moon's at, Uranus and Saturn. Saturn's asking us to be responsible with these gifts of where we're going, and the moon will be having a conversation with Saturn soon, once she enters into Pisces. And after she passes through Taurus, or in talks with Uranus, then it's like we'll be giving that energy form now. It'll be an interesting how this evolves, Cancer. So, this is, I feel like, how can we, I feel like, just like, where do you see yourself going forward? How do you see your group going forward? And how do you feel that the gifts that you do have they been put to use, that it is bettering, the humanity as a whole? Because I remember making this reference where, I think I heard this somewhere, where it's like, the tree is not growing fruit for itself to consume, it's growing for everyone else, so that the animals can enjoy the fruit. The animals are taking the seeds and spreading throughout, so that more trees can grow. It's a whole system, that we're coming in, together there. So, and that's what I'm feeling. And Cancer, if you're curious with how these energies are translating in your chart, and maybe you're noticing that during certain moons, like maybe a moon in Aquarius is a particularly auspicious time, or maybe you have a bit of troubles here when the moon's in Aquarius. When the moon's in Aquarius, for me, she is forming a trine with my moon sign, so that's actually really exciting. But she's actually hitting up, when she's going through there, she's opposing all of my other Leo placements. So it can be a little tricky sometimes there with the moon in Aquarius. So that's something you can learn about there, Cancer, if you're curious to see how these energies interact with your charts more personally. You can check out down in the description box. I have links for all of the services that I provide, and we go really in depth as far as just like how the planets are transiting through your houses, what aspects are forming with your personal planets. We can go into, and then I like to go into this as far as like getting into your solar return, which talks about how you're going to be working with for the year. We can even work with it more personally. We can change like the rising sign and the house placements where the focus is. I'm actually kind of playing around with mine right now. I think I'm going to stay where I'm around where I'm at, because it'll be where I'm in a lot of Cancerian energy, and actually where my sun is at is going to be really, really, really cool. And this is something where this is how you can show too where astrology and tarot and things don't control your life. You set the intentions, you set the goals, and this is how you interpret this energy. How I'm operating with my chart, someone may see my chart and see something completely different. So this is how we can work together and ask the questions that you've not thought about before, consider things, in yourselves that you hadn't, maybe the gifts that you hadn't thought to expose, or that you just maybe just had dismissed as something sort of that, oh, everyone can do this. So you definitely check that out, Cancer. I have links down in the description box below, also on my Instagram as well there, Cancer. And I think that's all I got for you there. So last few things there. If this is a general reading, not a, wait, no, I already said that. These readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings. So apply these energies to people. There we go. Apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then the decks that I'm working with, I've included links to them down in that description box below. So definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below, there's some links for some other readers that I really enjoy watching their, Cancer. Definitely check them out. One of them in particular, Jamie, she's fantastic. She's really working with the Aquarius energy, very great, forming these great groups and providing this great information. So definitely check her out. There's also an astrologer down there as well that really does some fantastic readings and things. I think you'd like her as well. But all of them are fantastic. And there are some links for some other resources, websites, apps, and podcasts that I enjoy listening to, Cancer. So definitely check that all out. It's all, avail yourself of all these goodies. But let's go ahead and get into your general energy of the day there, Cancer. And I love that this came up. So Cancer, you have the Whale Spirit card here. And this is a card of Trust the Great Mystery. And I like this, Cancer, because when I was looking over this deck, I like to look through all the cards before I go through, kind of make the connection, see what art and imagery sticks out. And this one's kind of a special one here, Cancer. There were 4 of them that really kind of resonated very strong with me, that gave this sort of very deep sort of energy. It's very kind of Neptune in Pisces, when we start thinking about it. Very cosmic when you think about this. I mean, this card, Trust the Great Mystery. I feel that this energy is asking you, Cancer, to trust, I feel like, in something bigger than, of course, bigger than, I feel like, what the mind understands. Aquarius is one that is, it's very much geared towards the mind, but where I feel that it's different, because their guardian is, one of them is Uranus, and that's the higher octave of Mercury. And so where, yes, it's about the mind, it's bigger. The Aquarius energy is bigger than that, and it's how the individual plays a part in the collective, in the great mystery. And I feel that this energy here is, it's tuning in more collectively, because that's what Pluto in Aquarius is asking us to do. I feel like and it's just however that resonates for you. This could be where because Aquarius is a very humanitarian sign, and that doesn't just mean where you're going out and volunteering and things along those lines, but it's just like, how are you being of service? Do you have maybe musical gifts? Maybe you're releasing stuff, you're releasing your music, spreading these positive messages, raising the vibration. Maybe you're great with cars. Maybe you're not just making, fixing cars, but maybe you're teaching people tools like, hey, how to change your oil stuff, how to negotiate negotiate with different card things, or maybe you're great with marine animals, and maybe you're whoever, whatever this looks like. I feel that I do feel like that there is, if especially if, because the thing I feel like with this great mystery is that sometimes this, I feel like this energy can seem so nebulous, so out of touch, that let me because it is it is. And it's actually interesting that when this energy came up, I actually had ordered a book not too long ago talking about Neptune, because I've Neptune and I are in a very interesting, or at least my son and Neptune are in a very interesting conversation. They're opposed one another. So, but yeah, let me get some tarot on this Cancer, and get some. Ooh, Cancer, very fascinating. Thank you. All right, so you have hubby and wifey here. So you have the King and Queen of Stars upright here, Cancer. And then you have the Ace of Stars, and then the Hermit, Virgo energy in reverse. And that's interesting that we would talk about this great mystery with Virgo coming up here, the Hermit, because Virgo is the opposite energy of Pisces. And I feel that Cancer, the reason I feel this great mystery is coming up is that it's I feel this energy is asking you to trust that internal voice a bit more. Because it's not that abundance isn't there, Cancer, with the Ace of Stars being in reverse. I just feel like that we're not making the most of these gifts when we're handed out this stuff there, Cancer. This Queen of Stars, I like how it's, the queen is the hand here, and the kings have the crown, because I feel the queens are the ones that are manipulating the energies. They're trusting that instinct, that intuition, as far as like, okay, I'm not sure why I'm getting this insight to maybe try this course, to maybe reach out to network with this person, to, oh, this situation's happened. Maybe let me be a little bit more present. There might be a situation that's coming up here. But I feel that this Queen of Stars is, as you start tuning into that intuition and things, you start seeing more opportunities. You have more that you can play with, in a sense, And this King of Stars is giving me this. This is the wisdom that you get from working with this energy, with the Queen of Stars here. Learning to work, because then at first I feel like it seems random, and it's like, how can we trust this stuff? And even when we trust it and the result isn't necessarily desirable, we could see it. I feel like in the micro, it may have seemed like, oh, this thing failed, I can't trust myself, the abundance isn't coming through. But the King of Stars, again, is upright here. And I feel like that in the grand scheme of things, you're going to see why this needed to go the way that it needs to do. And listen, Cancer, this trusting in the great mystery, I'm not saying this is something that is just like, oh, just take this leap of faith, trust that everything's going to be fine. And, it takes work, this trusting in this bigger energies. My son is in the 12th house, and Chiron's in the 12th house, so some healing there. I got Mercury in the 12th house. So, letting go is my mantra. It's how I'm here to learn about myself through understanding these experiences through life. Is here where I'm here to help others kind of heal, with my Chiron being in the 12th house. And even because I feel, Cancer, too, there's abundance with the King of Stars being here, of not knowing all of the answers, of not understanding the great mystery, because it is so vast. When you think about whales, they're mammoth, and the things that you're maybe wanting to take in may be a little bit too much for this human consciousness to process. Again, this in the short term, but in the long term, I feel like it's like all of the experiences up until now will make sense, and you'll see the abundance for where it is, and the new opportunities how you can turn, I feel, it's like misfortune into, oh, I thought I had something clever for this, but just change it into an opportunity, Cancer. Then things would be. Let me get a little bit more on this, Cancer. And Cancer, this is just going to be the theme that we're in for a little while longer, while we have these outer planets. Thank you. Have these outer planets, Saturn, especially with Saturn and Neptune being in Pisces. We're wrapping up a lot of closing energies. I feel this is the time to learn to trust in the great mystery. Because I feel what's going to happen is, pay attention, Cancer, I feel, depending on when you're watching this, from when the moon enters into Pisces, into where she transfers into this eclipse. That's how I feel the transition from when Saturn and Neptune move into Aries and really get settled in, and then when they form their conjunction. I feel like that's how that energy is going to feel. It's like there's this going to be, there's this a very clear, because they're going to be forming a conjunction in 2026. I know that's a while away, but it's going to be at 0 degrees of Aries. So that's going to be a very fresh start. That's going to be happening. So, but let's see what else is going. Oh, look at all these kings here, Cancer. Oh, you manifester. I do like this, Cancer, because you have the Wanderer and the King of Moons in reverse, and then you have the King of Wands, the Eight of Wands, and the Magician, Mercury here, the sign that, or the planet that Virgo is, or that, you get what I'm saying. Mercury's retrograde, so see, they don't want to be talked about. It's fine. Listen, Cancer, when you trust the great mystery, let's get into it. With this Magician here, I feel that's where the magic happens with the Magician. But it is a process with the King of Moons there, and it's an emotional one, Cancer. It's one where I feel you may seem like you're kind of going through, and that's interesting how you have the Hermit and the Wanderer in reverse. There is a lot of internal work that comes through with this, but I do feel that it is one too, Cancer, that I like that the King and Queen of Stars popped up here, because this is one where you are in this together as well. I like these two hands that are here, because and each of them are bringing different gifts. We could even look at it like this there, Cancer, because yes, there are some things that we work on by ourselves, but there's some things that we do work on with others, and you do got all these royals that are popping up here, Cancer. But you see how this hand here has these swords and the pentacles, and this one has the wands and the cups. Sometimes that's what you need to work with the great energy or the great mystery. Sometimes you have these, you have things and gifts that you are great with. Maybe you're really just emotionally intact there, Cancer, expert, intuitive, super creative, but maybe you have trouble grounding those things. So then you work with, or you collaborate. You form this collaboration with someone who has maybe a bit more earth in their chart, who can help you be a bit more structured, and in turn you can kind of help them relax a little bit more, Cancer. And that's, look at you being so wise with the energies here with the King of Wands, working with these things in a new way. And I feel that this Eight of Wands here is understanding that things are happening. I feel like as we start walking towards those intuitive nudges there, Cancer, and I feel that I feel a bit elevated with Mars being in Pisces. With this happening with Mars in Pisces, I feel like this is something where really kind of tune in with your energies, Cancer, with your body, as far as where things are trying to move you. Because I feel like the things may not be as fast as you want, but they'll be faster than you think. I feel with the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands, too, is this messages here. It's thinking broader. This is Mercury in Sagittarius, the Eight of Wands. And that's thinking a bit about the bigger picture there, not just the micro that Mercury is more so about. Mercury is about the kind of everyday body, or everyday that the ego experience in a sense that we see all the time, from our immediate environment to our commute in things along those lines. And so that's interesting. I feel with speaking of in kind of intuiting, this King of Moons is giving me, especially again this Mars. I feel like being in Pisces is one where, because I'll tell you what, Cancer, I've been kind of in this sort of energy of observation and surrender here as of late, especially after that whole message at the bus stop. I thought that was really really funny, but and it's not necessarily a giving up, but it's more so a okay, this is where I'm wanting to go and this is what I'm doing, and certain parts are matching up, but others it's like that piece doesn't fit there, so we got to move this. And it's working with source and the mystery however you feel to, but I feel that it is going to be more so kind of doing that internal work and okay, this isn't working, how can I do this, and being very honest with yourself and not being hard on yourself. It's just like, okay, I'm in this right now, this is why I'm in this, but this isn't sustainable, or this isn't going to work. And again, this may be good for the short term, but is this going to work for my long-term process here? King of Stars, can I build a foundation on this? So I feel like that's what this energy is leading us towards there. And then what things do we need to do, and what things that are brought up to our awareness can we do to heal that, and then use that energy and work with that Magician to create newer things, Cancer. But let's get some advice from Uranus and Saturn. Love it, Cancer. All right. Thank you. All right, Cancer, this is nice. So you have and I know this may not sound nice, but you have the Empress in reverse. And then you have the Two of Moons, the Empress and the Six of Stars in reverse. And then you have the Two of Moons, the Six of Wands, and the Five of Stars up right here, Cancer. And let's switch back over. Because, I feel why the Empress is in reverse is because of this Five of Stars. Is because I feel Five of Stars can be that lack mentality. When we tell ourselves that there's not this or there's not that around, and so it shall be, because that is what we believe. And this is not me saying, this is not just like wishful thinking and saying like, oh my gosh, everything is great. This is a being realistic with the situation here, Cancer. This is being objective. Okay, this is what I'm feeling. How is that actually translating? Okay, let's say I don't have money to make, let's say, rent, for example. Look in your bank account. Is that actually true? Okay, and if so, then what am I going to do about it? Six of Stars being in reverse here. What can I do? What do I need to change? Where do I need to give my energies to? One, where am I giving my energies to that's not working? That's stealing from my resources, that is keeping up this time, that's taking up this stuff, because the Pentacles deal with more than just your money. Time is a resource. Energy is a resource. All of those things. This is thinking a bit more abstract with this, Cancer. And I feel that's when we look at our, that's interesting, with Two of Moons, I feel like when we look at our relationships with things, and even thinking about the Empress, she's Venus. Venus is our relationships, not just with people, but with money, with the environment, with stuff, with, because she's with color, with it's where we find harmony, where we find beauty. And I feel like if things are out of whack, then this is the time of reevaluation, and not look at what you don't have, but look at what you're working with right now, and how you can, and it is appreciating the little wins that'll happen along this way. Because in this, the realization that something needs to change, that's a little win, Cancer. That's a big win, Cancer, with the Six of Wands in the grand scheme of things. And all these little, what maybe seem like little celebrations in the moment may not seem like it. When you were down here, it may have seemed like a big deal, may not seem like a big deal, but you're getting higher with each of these wands here until you're at the top there. But I do feel that when we're thinking about Aquarius energy too, the people that you're bringing along the way, they may not trust the energies like you do, and there may be some things where some stuff may change, And I'm not saying that relationships are just going to end just because they're Cancer, but there are some things where we're going to need to trust that things are happening the way they're happening because that's how they need to happen. And that may not, and again, that's not always the greatest answer, but there is something freeing in that because then I can't control how I react to it. It's just like, yes, that's not the greatest, but okay, I don't have to cling to that. I can stay in this as long as I need to, but I do know that I have the power to move forward, and I feel like that is that's power, that's abundance, that's Empress, and I feel as the Empress is how, and Venus is how you make peace with things, how you harmonize with this. I feel like the environment and those in your relationships and things may feel out of whack right now, but I feel that, and that's interesting too that we talk about this because when Venus is going to be entering into Aries when you're depending on we're watching this tomorrow on the 5th. So I feel like we're gonna be kind of maybe feeling in new territory there. It's like something is like, oh, something's changing and we can sense it. It almost it's exciting, but it is primal. It's like you're almost like being released in like a safari a little bit. And it's just like I feel like it's not looking at it from a place of danger, but more so looking at it from that place of excitement and from a place of wonder, and what's to come. So I think I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. A little something to think about. But if you like that, Cancer, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and share this, Cancer, because I know that this can be difficult trusting in this great mystery, and thinking about those kind of bigger questions. What's the point for this? What is my role in this? How am I supposed to? How do I keep my faith in this? And I like to think, Cancer, when you're asking those questions, that's a great place to be because then you can go be this wanderer and go find the answers. Instead of saying I had actually heard something and I didn't realize at first how much of how that can change things a little bit, but I heard someone was playing a little like some TikTok stuff and I was like there was this person that came in that was just like, adding yet to things, it adds this chance of opportunity. So it's like I may not know where I'm going yet, and then that leads you to opportunity as opposed to I don't know, period, and you've just hit a wall. Being intentional with your words, I feel like keeps you moving, keeps you wanting to go on this journey. And when you ask yourself these questions, when you're feeling desperate, when you're not sure what's going on, that's the universe commuting to you like, hey, it's like instead of like asking the universe is asking you, hey, this is what I want you to do. How does that resonate with you? You want to go be an Empress. What does that mean? What do you want to do with that then? How do we need to take what does an Empress, what does it mean for you to be an Empress? Do we need to get different clothes? Do I need to learn how to make my clothes at first? Empress is crafty. So that's if we're noticing someone who's having troubles trusting the great mystery or whatever that's looking like their Cancer, share this video and subscribe there, you Empress. Hit that bell button, get notified on all these videos each day. And then, too, Cancer, if you know someone who's maybe having trouble with things, maybe one Cancer to another, we could share that link over there, Cancer, as far as with all the services that I do offer, we can work through this answer. Maybe you're going through, maybe Neptune's transiting through your first house, which can be, actually know someone who's going through that right now. And that's a tough one, where it's kind of discovering that sense of self, or in not having a clear grasp on that. Or maybe you're similar like me, you have maybe Uranus and Jupiter going through your 10th house, and it's figuring out who you are, and there's that challenge that's coming through with that, and what do you actually value, and that's been a really kind of a big one here over these years, and it's over these last few years. So but it's gotten me closer to where I need to be because now things feel a little less tumultuous now that we're kind of sticking more true to self. But And that's how it can feel, Cancer. It's not to say that the stuff doesn't stop, but it makes it so that you're not, that it doesn't catch you off guard. So if that's something that resonates with you, definitely check that information down in the description box and also on my Instagram page. And then when we get done, Cancer, you're done checking all that stuff, you become an expert, you can come over to my channel, Alchemist 8, where I talk about the weekly transits that are going on and when the planets are transiting through the different signs. And it's a great old time there, Cancer. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here. Ooh! Ooh! So I can get you out of here, Cancer. So you have the Tower here, Mars energy. And we were talking about Mars. I love that. Because with the Tower being here, Cancer, I feel that we're in a time where I feel that where I see these energies going, Cancer, is that where I don't dismiss that circumstances happen and that things happen, but the Tower can be things happening to us. And if we're getting to that place of why are these things happening to us, that is a time to reflect, pause for a moment. And with Hermit being in reverse, Wanderer being in reverse, because now we've gotten so out of alignment, we're not sure what's going on. So I feel when things get to that place, the Tower is really asking you to stop. And I feel like that's what this Mercury retrograde kind of is. It's a very interesting energy. That's why I say it's like there's this big build up, but I feel it's more so internally. This is the time to go within, to trust the great mystery, to be kind, compassionate with where you're at, but understand that yes, you may not be able to control all of this stuff that's going on around you. You may not be able to understand the people that are coming in and out of your life, how they're acting, but you can control how you respond to them and how you react to a situation. And whatever that means, that doesn't say that you have to be level-headed and be all zenned out. You can be pissed off. You can be sad. You can be happy. You can be whatever it is, but I feel like it is acknowledging that I do have control in this. I feel like it's more that I have the control to escape if I want to. I have the control to this if I want to, but I feel it is the conscious awareness, magician energy, of what you are choosing to create from these energies that have been presented to you. And it's not a matter of what's fair, Cancer, because we've all can look at certain things and wish that, that's what makes this experience so different. But the Aquarius energy does, I feel, that detachment, I feel, has been misplaced on Aquarius. I feel that this is, again, when you're thinking about Aquarius, yes, you're thinking about the individual, but you're also thinking about more so how I, as the individual, affect the collective. And it feels that, yeah, that's, great mystery stuff there, Cancer. But with your other oracle card here, other surprise cards, you have the Well Maidens here. And this is a card of kindness, respect, reverence, and compassion. And that's what we need right now, Cancer, because we're all going through a Tower moment. We go through towers all the time there, Cancer, but it's one thing to just go through the Tower and feel like that everything is just kind of happening to you, or to be aware of the power and that knowing that these things are happening for you, and that the universe is not throwing this stuff at you because it doesn't respect you, or that it's being unkind to you, or anything, or that it has no compassion for you. This is teaching you those things, and to treat yourself and your experiences with reverence there, Cancer. And I know how that may sound. again, but it is all part of the great mystery. And there are people in which our minds, we may be thinking it could be going through a lot worse, but they may be having the time of their lives, of their journey here. Who knows what that may look like? But again, it's all circumstantial. We can have that, it's all pans out, but this is how I feel, Cancer. We need to learn how to treat ourselves in order to learn how to treat others going forward with that kindness, respect, with reverence, absolutely, and compassion. So I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. But you stay mindful out there, Cancer. There is a stay mindful out there, Cancer, and keep eyes on the moon. Feel her out. We're intuiting through these energies there, Cancer. And I will catch you on the next one on Venus Day tomorrow.